Hi, good day. My name is William T. Dongo. I'm here again to give you the lecture on climate control and refrigeration technology about fundamental of air conditioning and refrigeration. The one we'll be talking about is the lecture number 1, Introduction to HVAC technology. Okay, this is an introduction. Okay, the history, we'll be talking about the history and development, occupation and opportunity, and then we're gonna talk about hand tools, power tools, okay, and then spatial tools. History and development, mechanical refrigeration, medium or low temperature. Pears appeared in the late 1800s to produce ice, used by meat packer, the butchers shop, and the breweries. Other industries began making full use of mechanical refrigeration. Pears household refrigeration product was in 1918 by Kelvinator. General Electric, GE, introduces the Pears sealed hermetic refrigeration unit in 1928. Fast freezing for preserving food for extended period of time was produced in 1923. This was a major step in the modern frozen food industry. And then the air conditioning, high temperature, automatic refrigeration unit for comfort cooling appeared in 1927. Air condition for automotive Pears appeared in the late 1930s. Okay, your occupational opportunity for this type of profession, you can be in the industrial manufacturing. You'll be working in the plastic industries, and then meat packing plant or a cold storage plant. For commercial, you can do a data processing industry. Just like you maintain the temperature and humidity inside the computer room. The ice rinks, beverage coolers, frozen food, display cases, ice cream and beverage dispenser, walk-in freezer and refrigerator. Commercial air conditioning system. You can be working with the chillers or the boilers, and then you can be a salesman on the market selling refrigerator and air conditioning product. And then domestics, residential refrigeration freezer. Okay, residential air conditioning system, you can do that. Then you'll be working with the central air system and then the window type air conditioning. And then for building maintenance, you can be a facility maintenance. May include some portion of the above. You'll be a stationary engineer. May include additional duties such as plumbing, electrical, generator, and security system. During my days in the professional life, that's what I did. I was building maintenance. Later became an engineer. Okay, now the next one we'll be talking about is the hand tools. First thing, the one we're going to be talking about is safety. When you use your hand tools, make sure you put safety first in your work. You don't want yourself to be hurt at work, the workplace. You gotta wear gloves, goggles if you need to, or hard hats. Okay. The next one we'll be talking about will be a screwdriver. Screwdriver I have here. They comes into, I got one right here. It's a screwdriver made of Craftsman. Screwdrivers type, common or straight blade type, slotted screwdrivers or Phillips. And then you got the offset. Okay, select the correct size, tip to prevent damage to the fastener. Okay, and then you got a socket. Socket, it comes in a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch drive. They'll be standard. You got dip socket, you have a nut drive, and then you have an extension. Okay, and then you have wrenches. Wrenches, they come in open end. You got box end, combination, and then player nuts wrench, line wrench. Make sure you use the right wrench, this player nut wrench, when tightening air conditioning fittings. And then you got the ratchet type, you got the refrigeration wrench, and then you got the pipe wrench. So I got here a pipe wrench, right here. We got a crescent ratchet with a socket at the end, and then we got the crescent wrench. Then I have here is a combination wrench. And then we got the next one. We got a hammer. We got a ball pen hammer, plastic or brass soap face. Some have replacement end. Okay, some have replacement end. And then we have pliers. You got slip joint pliers. That's the channel lock. The electrician wire stripper. You got the slide cutter. You got needle nose. You got vice grip locking type. And then you got the lineman's plier. What I got here is just this one right here for right now. This is the sample that I can show you. Okay. Never use pliers to remove nuts or bolt damage to the fastener may occur. Okay, yeah. And then you have punches. Punches are, we got the center punch, used only for making pieces such as drilling. Do not use to drive out pins, etc. Tapered punch. Tapered punch used for starting a pin, aligning parts. And then pin punch used only to drive out pins. Okay. Note, use a file to dress a punches and chisel when ends are mushroom or when sharpened. And then in the next one we're gonna be talking about is will be the pliers. Okay, the pliers types are milled. You got pine cut, and then that's the bastard. We have a rough cut. And then shapes. Shapes are rod file, half round, flat, and triangle. File are made of very hard steel and may break very easily. Never store files together unless they are in a protective case. Also will shatter if broken. And then we're gonna talk about puller. We got bearing puller. Okay, bearing puller. The material, it's a material finger. It's got gear pullers. And then we got two jaw pressure screw top pullers. And then a slide hammer puller. And then if we talk about hacksaw. Hacksaw cuts in one direction only. on a downstroke. Used for cutting soft material only. Again, then we have taps. Taps and die. Used for making new or tapered old threads. Taps cut internal threads and die cut external threads, bolts and studs. And then we have a pipe threader. Pipe threader used to cut external thread in pipes. And then we have an adjustable wrench. Adjustable wrench always apply pressure to the fixed job. Be sure it is adjusted to fit tight. Many more basic tools and special hand tools exist to make the technician job easier. Be sure you are familiar with its tools before use it and work safely. Make sure you're familiar with the tools. Make sure you take care of them because they are your help in doing your work. Now today is take care of your tools because today tools are getting expensive. So the next one we'll be talking about will be power drill. Power drill right here. Always wear eye protection. When using power tools, safety glasses is required. Okay? Full face shields if you got to. Because make sure you read the instruction if it's a brand new equipment and take a safety on using these tools. Because once you get hurt on these tools, it really makes you it will hurt you because you're using electricity. Okay? Electric drill. Electric drills are sized in 3/8, half-inch drill are most common. Always remove power cord when replacing bit. Use a center punch to mark the old location before drilling. When drilling a large hole in thick metal, drill a smaller pilot hole. Reduce drill speed possible. Drill speed as if possible. A small amount of lightweight oil on the drill bit will help the bit cut easier and prevent overheating of the bit. When drilling metal, use pilot drill as a starter before using the desired final size. Many other power tools are available that are not mentioned in here. Just like, read manufacturer's instruction before using. Ask someone knowledgeable about the tools, if in question. Remember, safety is paramount. And then the next one we'll be talking about is a torch. Torches used to install and repair refrigerant equipment. Very flammable and dangerous. We got the type. You got the oxyacetylene, air acetylene, the propane, and the MAP gas. Okay? Then we have here a vacuum pump. This is the picture that I have for a vacuum pump. Right here. Vacuum pump must be used after new installation or repair are made before charging. Used to remove undesirable gases that creates problem in the refrigeration system. We got moisture, air non-condensables, and then acid inside the system. So you need to use a vacuum pump to get rid of this problem, to remove this problem in the future. Problem, if not removed, are hydrochloric acid, hydrofluoric acid, and then high head pressure and discharge pressure will occur. Okay. And then we got a charging cylinder. Charging cylinder used to add refrigerant to smaller self-contained refrigeration system. Allow refrigerants to be added in ounce rather than in pounds. These cylinders are accurate to only 1/4 of an ounce. Some may have heaters to speed up the charging operation. You can use also a weight. You must have a weight scale if you want to charge it by weight of refrigerant. And then we got an oil pump. The oil pump is I got a small diagram of the oil pump right here. Oil pump. I mean, a small diagram of the oil pump. The oil pump used to add refrigerant oil to a compressor without discharge to the system. Discharging the system may be done with or without pressure on system compressor. Attached to AC gauge. Oil must be pumped directly into sump. Remember that. Oil must be pumped directly into sump. And then we have a capillary oil. We have capillary tube cleaner. Used to clean a plug capillary tube. And then you got this is an hydraulic type pump. And then we have the pin comb. Pin comb is used to straight tube. I got one right here. The diagram is right here. Tools used to straighten the heat transfer pins on condenser and evaporator. And then you got the gauge manifold. The gauge manifold the basic diagram looks like this. Okay, you got two gauges and then you got your manifold there. Used to measure high and low pressure. Used to add refrigerant or oil to the system. Used to evacuate the system. Has two gauges. High pressure gauge. That is scale is 0 to 500 psig. Low pressure gauge, compound gauges, scale from 30 inches of vacuum to 0 inches of vacuum. And then from 0 to 150 psig or 0 to 120. Compound gauges reach pressure above atmospheric in psig and below in inches of mercury. Normally gauges will be red and blue. Red is for high side, head pressure, and then blue is for low side or suction side. Remember, there's another metric gauges scale there in the market too, in which today most of them are being used now because we're going to the metric standard. Okay. Temperature on the gauges is usually read using interior scale. Then we have a leak detector. Leak detector, you can use soap bubbles, halide leak torch detector. You get electronic leak detector and the ultraviolet leak heat detector. Okay, soap bubbles. Soap bubbles use watery water/soap solution. Solution is sprayed or brushed over the area. Any gas leaking will cause bubbles. Not as accurate as the other leak detecting equipment. And then you got the halide torch detector. We have the basic diagram right here. Halide leak detector. It looks like this. Okay? Can be dangerous if used incorrectly. Puts up a dangerous gas phosgene. Can be propane or acetylene type of torch. Propane most commonly used. Torch will have a rubber tip that draws in air mixing with the flame. Tube is moved along the refrigeration line and fittings. If there's a leak, the flame will turn a light green. If it leaks, it's extremely bad. The flames may turn purple. When flame is turned to green, the gas puts off. This flame is phosgene gas. Phosgene gas, that is dangerous gas. So make sure your space is ventilated when you're using this kind of tester. When using this type of leak detector, be sure you are in a well-ventilated space. When I was in the Navy, this is usually what we have available at that time, about 20 years ago. So when we use this, we just make sure that we are in a safety location, that the ventilation must be really, really good. And then another leak detector is the electronic leak detectors. Sensitive leak detectors up to ounce per year. Response to only halogen gas refrigerants. Uses transistor circuitry, usually battery operated. Some may run off 115 volts, the house current. If in the overseas, you might use 220 volts. Don't plug it in there if it's rated for 115 volts, or else you're gonna blow it up. As a probe that pulls in surrounding gases. Avoid drawing in moisture. If leak is detected, a piercing sound or a light will flash or both. Clean the plastic tip on the end of the sniffer probe before and after use. Avoid clogging with dirt or lint. Change filter in the tip. Then we got the ultraviolet leak detector. Use oil additives. Glows brilliantly green at location of leak. Detects quarter-ounce leak rates per year. In most is most sensitive. Is this the most sensitive? Then we have the recycling and recovery system. We need a recovery machine, okay? Used to recover and reuse refrigeration. CFC refrigerants are suspected of causing problems with the ozone layer in our atmosphere. Chlorofluorocarbons must no longer be vented to the atmosphere. That's R11 and R12. That's illegal to do that. If you are going to be a refrigerant technician, you must learn to use this equipment. Never mix refrigerant types of refrigerants in the same recovery system. Some system may filter refrigerant. Nowadays, this is a mandatory by the EPA that you have this type of machine. And then we have a thermometer. Thermometer are used to determine temperature of AC unit output or input air temperature. Can be pocket mercury column, dial indicator type, remote valve type, electronics, and recording type. And then you have a soldering gun. Soldering gun is very important, used primarily to solder electronics connection. And then you have a heat gun. Heat gun is very useful to melt ice in the evaporator and the pressure in the press-up. Okay. Where's that? Here's the picture of the heat gun. And then you got the tubing bender. Tubing bender used to bend tubing without kinking. Be sure to use the correct size and type. Should always be used when bending tubing. And then you have a vacuum pump. Vacuum pump used to verify level of deep evacuation. Readings is microns, more sensitive than manifold gauges for leaks, detection, and moisture sensing. And then the next one we gotta talk about electrical. We got volt ohmmeter, referred to as multimeter. Measure voltage, resistance, ohms, and current milliamps. These are many different types and uses. And then you have the IC clamp ohmmeter, ammeter, and then multimeter, used to check amperage without removing the wire from the current. Can also be used to measure voltage or resistance. Note, there are many other tools and test equipment used in the service and repair industry. Be sure to fully understand the use and safety procedure of any equipment you are not familiar with. Okay, that's so we talk about electrical devices. We talk about electrical devices and then specialized tools and testing equipment, just like torches, vacuum pumps, oil pumps, charging cylinder, capillary tube cleaner, and then file comb, pin comb, then gauge manifold, leak detector, ultraviolet leak detector, thermometer, soldering gun, heat gun, tubing bender, vacuum gauge, voltmeter, ohms, multimeter, and then you got the AC clamp on meter. Okay, that's all I have for this lecture. I hope so you will learn. Definitely, you will learn on my lecture. This is the first series. Okay, thank you, and then I hope so that you're gonna enjoy my video. This is just for lecture and not intended to use for building codes, using as a code. Okay, thank you, bye.